All right, Mayor. So just tell us why you want to run for president, why you think you'd be good at it, and why you think you have a chance.
Well, one, I'm running because we have to directly confront our problems as a country. And my growing frustration, especially since I made the movie in 2011, which you actually have a scene in, of seeing the haunting nature of seeing the people that still stick in my brain, and I see them all over the country, who feel massively disconnected. And yet we have a country, whether it's Republican or Democrat, who simply won't directly confront any single problem. I mean, take Social Security. We have a Republican plan that says we'll do nothing. Brian, it's $43 trillion in arrears. So what do? What I usually do, I'll go find the expert in Social Security, Larry Kotlikoff over at BU, who's written more about it and worked in the Reagan administration, Social Security, and we get his plan. And so one of the reasons I'm running is that we have to set forth how we would directly solve the corruption in the country, the banking situation, which is too concentrated of power, our tax system, Social Security, China, which we've never directly dealt with. That's why I'm running, because I think my message, and you guys have watched me do that, I can get that message to people where they're saying, yeah, someone else answer that question. You just can't say we're not going to touch Social Security. And I know it may sound like I'm going on all third rail issues. I did that in Rhode Island. Union, I mean, name it, right? We went after everything. And I thought it was normal, but I think it would be normal for the Republican Party to have a platform that actually solves problems.
So you were mayor, almost it was going on 20 years ago now. You last ran for office in Colorado almost 10 years ago now. And I know your daughter had health issues, but you've been out of the political game for a while. Most people nationally haven't heard of you. Why are you doing this? And what do you say to people who are like, he's not on the same level as a DeSantis or a Trump in terms of name recognition. So is this serious?
Yeah, that's true on name recognition, not talent, not knowledge. Nobody argues the fact that take education. Who else taught the top finance course at the state university, has 6 children, personally educated themselves? The list goes on, right? Who dealt directly with school situations? Me. So nowadays, the internet, getting name recognition can happen. It probably couldn't have happened in 1940, but we're revamping, all these things to talk to people. I'll be living in New Hampshire pretty soon. I'll be doing exactly what I did in Cranston, that you may have been too young to be at the beginning to see me do what I do, but we'll get attention. That's not the issue. They're really not the issue. People will gravitate to someone with solutions. And if all I can do is force everybody else to put their solutions up there to save this country, because we are entering the financial crisis that Cranston at a microcosm was about to enter. And I knew it, and I was right. And the question is, will people give attention to somebody who's been right? Who's been right about China from 2005? In my movie, we shouldn't be trading with these people. It's going to lead to a war. They're taking our money and they're spending it on the military. Only large corporations are the ones who get short-term profits, and the middle class has been emptied out. I was right. Now look at what Marco Rubio said. He's got a lot of attention, got a lot of knowledge. He says, 3 weeks ago, looks like China is sending a warning shot across our bow. Where was he in 2005? These people are trying to catch up. Leadership is about knowing where to go and saying, let's go. And I think people will gravitate to that message. It can happen. How many people knew Mayor Pete 4 years ago? I never heard of the guy.
Right.
He tied for first in Iowa. Who heard of Herman Cain in 2010? Nobody knew who he was. But for about 3 months, every single American in the Republican Party knew Herman Cain.
And so you said you're going to basically live in New Hampshire?
Yes.
For all intents and purposes?
Yes, I'm heading there soon.
And what do you hope? You hope kind of just the one-on-one interactions you can make your sell?
Yeah, between one-on-one interactions, attending every Republican meeting, speaking at the Dartmouth, in front of the Dartmouth Review, heading into UNH. Remember, I'm from New England, right? So I've been to these places a lot, and I know where they are. And so it may be bigger than Rhode Island to get going, but once you can break through there, you can go farther.
What other important issues do you feel like you need to tackle, and what's your answer to them? I know
Well,
that's a
one I
hard
would
question.
bring up to you, the one issue that people will not talk about is corruption. Our country has become a corrupt country from Washington, D.C. And what do I mean by that? I'll give you an easy answer. Not just cash for clunkers back in 2008 and 9. I'm talking about the PPP program, Paycheck Protection Program. NBC News is your nationals just call it the biggest scandal-ridden thing they've ever seen, to paraphrase. 70,000 cases of fraud. Who voted for it? Every single United States senator, and the president approved it. I said at the time, this is a joke. It'll lead to nothing but corruption. They think there's 70,000 cases of corruption. Take the Wall Street Journal, 4 giant articles in the last 3 months, not about the people who run the Senate, the 2,000 plus people who are running agencies. They're front running trades before they have people come in. Corruption is this. It took 2 years for the Wall Street Journal to get the information. And here's the real corruption. They write 4 gigantic articles. What's the reaction in the U.S. Senate or in the House of Representatives? Crickets. Nothing. No changes. No one's going to get arrested. No one's going to get stopped. Let me ask you a question. If we had a president who said, members of the House, members of the Senate, their staff, and the president, their assets should just be in savings accounts and CDs and US dollars. 1, how long would people serve? Right? 2, do you think they pay you nothing on the savings? So corruption is a giant angle that I don't think anybody's going to talk about, because anybody who's been in Washington, D.C. for a long time who might be running or in the Senate, if you notice, they won't touch it.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add?
No, one thing I would add is I just want to tell you about education. I think that I remain uniquely positioned to discuss education. Growing up in a public school, Bowdoin College, Harvard Business School, teaching the top finance course at the University of Rhode Island, educating 6 kids, personally homeschooling them, and watch the success of that. Charter school, Catholic schools, Montessori schools. I guess I'm forgetting a couple. But who else has done that? Do we want someone who actually knows about education, who dealt with a school committee and school committees personally, antagonistic ones? Or do we want someone to keep talking? That's the question. You want someone to keep talking, will improve the schools? Never happening, right? Or do you want someone to say, here's how we fix this? And every parent will say, yeah, my school can't get fixed.
All right. So your next move, when should people be looking for you in New Hampshire?
Within a couple of weeks.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it, Steve. Thanks for the time.
Good talking.